Melissa spent some time lying on the ground after the fall. For her, nothing out of the ordinary happened. The young girl had been involved in various kinds of active sports since she was a child, both winter and summer, so this fall did not cause even a slight fright. Although from this angle the ladder looked huge, somewhat threatening, and even the top of it seemed to be invisible. "Stop lying around. People go to other planets and I have to get up," she thought. The first thought was to repair the equipment, i.e., the wooden ladder. But the first attempts quickly made it clear that the repair was not yet relevant. "We need another ladder," Melissa thought, and went to find a spare one. A moment later, a sturdy metal ladder was already installed in its new location. Step by step, albeit with some caution, the girl began to climb to the roof of the barn. And now she is already near the place where the bees fly in and out. In fact, it's just a small hole in the wall opposite the bees' flight path, through which they fly in and out. However, through this hole, you can see how the swarm of bees works in their new nest under the barn roof. To avoid being stung, Melissa uses her phone's camera. Through the screen, she can watch the bees work without disturbing them and without putting herself in danger of being stung. "Now I have bees," she thought. On the one hand, it's an opportunity to try something new as a hobby. On the other hand, beekeeping is a complicated business that hurts a lot from bee stings. She doesn't need to do it professionally because she is currently studying, and the part-time work related to her future job pays well, and honey can be bought in any store. As she descended the ladder, she thought that perhaps she should call a person to remove the swarm from her barn. Phone in hand, and an internet search confirmed that one call and the bees would be taken away from her yard. Her thoughts were divided. "I need to think about it a little more," she said to herself mentally and turned off the phone. Somewhere in the backyard, in the garden, it's a day off, and Melissa is relaxing, surrounded by hundreds of bright and fragrant flowers, with the warm summer sun gently warming her. Looking at one of the flowers nearby, she noticed a fluffy insect buzzing and picking at the pink petals with its long proboscis. The girl remembered that some trees use bees as pollinators, and that this makes the trees produce better fruit. In addition to the flowers she is now among, there are fruit trees nearby on her plot: apple, pear, hazelnut, and other trees. There were years when these plantations did not produce abundant harvests, even though the area where the young girl lived was quite green. However, during the flowering period, there were few bees on these trees. Sometimes even entire alleys full of flowers were almost without insects. So, last year, some fruit trees yielded almost no crops, such as hazelnuts. But this year I have bees, and I haven't decided what to do with them. On the one hand, they don't bother me, because they are located at the end of the plot in an old barn that I hardly ever visit. On the other hand, if my garden yields better than usual, it will be very good. It's decided, Melissa thought. Take a look at the yield first, and then decide the fate of the bee colony.
Author's words. This is the third episode of the story about Melissa and her introduction to bees, and it's time to go behind the scenes to tell you about the creation of this story. As you've noticed, there was less paper animation in this video, but a puppet version of our character appeared, and her garden became more voluminous. No, I'm not planning to completely switch from paper animation. I'm just experimenting with different types of figures. As for the figurine, it is a fabric doll with natural filling. So far, this is just the first version of the figurine. The next series will also feature more paper animation, and we will dive even deeper into the world of beekeeping. It's sure to be interesting. Special thanks to the commenters for supporting the previous video.